So, Chad, one of our Namis that made it in the top 16, we're going to see him up against Ace in this top 16 round. Nami, if you do not know, got a huge boost in the EB03 format, right? This leader, blue, yellow, your turn once per turn, has 2 leader effects. When a card leaves life, you may trigger this. Draw 1 card if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, and then Dawn ×1 on opponent's attack once per turn. Trash a card from hand, plus 2,000 power for the turn on your leader. The Ace, a little bit of the opposite, right? When one of your characters or you take damage gets KO'd, you may draw 1 card, and on top of that, you can trash 1 card from your hand to minus 2,000 power on one of your opponent's leaders or characters for the battle on their turn. So kind of 2 really interesting leaders within this, right? Ace taking up 25% of this entire tournament, right, in the overall deck distribution, and 4 of them making it into this top cut. So going to be curious to see. We see Nami going first in this one. So Ace taking that even curve. We know that Ace loves going second with this deck. It's going to be interesting to see how Nami responds on the odd curve. Listen, if you're itching for a brand new playmat, now is the time to check out Newgate, the sponsor of this video. Not only do they have brand new pre-orders up on their website for Chaos Crew, Green Fury, and the Absolute Ruler designs, which by the way, are phenomenal. But if you're a fan of Goldie Roger, Newgate actually put out a new playmat called The Journey's End, showcasing Goldie Roger himself, and you yourself can find his one piece with the possibility of a 1 in 20 chance to get the special wanted playmat. And on top of that, if you're like me and you absolutely prefer cloth mats, Newgate has officially posted on their site cloth mats for Green Fury, Absolute Ruler, Berserk, and Journey's End. Plus, if you want a ton of other great accessories that aren't just playmats, they've got the King of Hearts t-shirt, matching pin, other pins alongside of it through the whole Cake Island, and even stickers. Make sure with whatever you want in Newgate, use my code Atrocious for 8% off. The link to their website is in the description below. Thank you so much for Newgate for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to that video. Nami with the brand new cards of the 5-cost Nami and EB03 and the Robin. It's going to be curious to see how much of an impact they have on this game. We see a couple cards in here, that 1-drop Searcher event on the Nami side. I also see one of the new EB03 Robins as well, which is pretty cool. A couple 2Ks in the 2 Hioris on the outsides of the cards, and a Nojiko. Nojiko could be really good in this matchup to be able to get rid of Marco, right? Marco having that on KO effect of drawing 2 cards, as we see in his hand, could be really nice to get him off the field so you have no opportunity to draw those extra cards. We also see a Yamato in there, right? Being able to draw on the odd curve and give Arrested Dawn to lead some 2K in the Uta, a 10-cost Newgate blocker, and a 1-drop Izo. So pretty interesting hands from both sides, at least. We do have a little bit of draw potential from the Nami, right, with those Hioris. Could be really cool. And to start out, we will be using that 1-cost event. What are the events from EB03? If your leader is Nami, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with the cost of 2 to 8. Add it to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. We see a couple different options, right? A Kiku Nojo and a 5-drop Nami. We're grabbing the Kiku Nojo this time, passing on the Nami. I think, if I had to take a guess, the Nami in the next turn is going to use Hiyori in their hand, that 2-cost on their 3-Dawn turn, to put that Kiku Nojo in the life, right? Because especially in this matchup, Kiku Nojo is going to be able to hit the field because Ace is at 3 or less life at all points in the game. So Ace, now starting off on his first turn, going second, is going to use this Izo, finds the 9-drop Whitebeard. We're starting to see this Whitebeard from OP02 come back into these decks. We saw it in the beginning of the format, and now we're seeing it at the end of the format in these decks. And just attaches 1 on his leader to be able to use leader effect potentially, and passes off the turn. Nami going to go in that 3-Dawn turn. Wouldn't be surprised to see just a 6K swing to start into the Hiyori, and we're going to start exactly with that 6K swing. that I was mentioning. It's going to be nice also to have that one Dawn on the Nami leader to be able to boost her up for 7K, right, in the opponent's turn when Ace decides to swing at lead. He'll probably match, though, with a 7K at lead, so Nami more than likely probably taking the first card. Ace using his leader effect to pitch that 9-drop Newgate that we saw, and the Hiyori comes in. Going to be able to take that top life and replace it with anything in the hand. Looks like it is going to be that Kiku Nojo, right? Like I mentioned, going to be able to play that on the field. And with that, we should be passing off the turn after using leader effect. The leader effect, because the Nami did get a life taken, right? Anytime that the life leaves the field on blue, yellow Nami, could be your life, could be your opponent's life. You know, in whatever way possible, you get that draw effect to draw one card if you have 7 or less in hand. And so Ace starting out his 4-Dawn turn with the swing right here with the Kiku Nojo. And one thing you got to worry about in this matchup as the Nami is with the Kiku Nojo, right? Especially on a 4-Dawn turn from the Ace. Some Aces are playing something like Atmos, right? And Atmos would be able to put that Kiku Nojo back onto the field. So we see another one come into the hand, but we're thinking of playing a Shoujo Girl. How much Dawn do we have? 5-Dawn turn right here. This 2-drop promo card that came out in Japan, still no TBA date for the West as of yet. It's a really nice draw one, trash one, and be able to get a Dawn on your leader every single turn so you can tap out on your curve entirely. I know, if only we could have the Shoujo Nami too. So starts off with the Nojiko, though, and the Nojiko, like I mentioned to chat earlier, if you're watching this on the live stream, going to be so nice to get that Marco off the field of play. Now playing that 2-drop Shoujo Girl, going to be able to draw one and trash one. So thinking about pitching the Kiku Nojo from the hand, right? Just a brick in the hand. You don't need more than one as of right now. Is going to get 1 Dawn on that activate main attached to the leader. Starts out swinging the Kiku Nojo 6 just in case of any sort of trigger that could bottom deck or bounce back the Kiku Nojo into hand. You want to swing with the leader last. Probably going to be a 7K swing. So Ace now is going to have to use his leader effect minus 2,000 power, and this 7K swing is either going to prompt a 2K in the hand or take the first life, and first life is what it is. Because a life was removed from the field, Nami once again going to be able to draw. We move on to the Ace's next turn, his 6-Dawn turn. We see in this Nami list Shirahoshi as well. Shirahoshi, a lot of times in these Nami decks, are like a 1 or 2 of different tech card, right? Especially with stuff like the Emu matchup, right? If they try to KO that Shirahoshi, it's going to be nice because you're going to be able to heal a life. Or actually, is that the OP12 Shirahoshi? My apology. I think actually that's the OP12 Shirahoshi, so actually, that is different. I was thinking of the EB01 Shirahoshi, but we're going to use leader effect to be able to be a 7K leader for the rest of the turn. And that Jozu going to be able to put back the Kiku Nojo into the hand and pass off the turn. Jozu and Atmos, good cards for Ace in this matchup, right? To be able to remove threats off the field. We see a top deck of the 5-cost Nami. So 5-cost Nami could be nice to be able to, or get a Dawn onto your leader. Holy smokes, I can't talk right now. But we're playing the Robin instead. I like the Robin on this play, right? Not only do you get to be able to shuffle your life a little bit, right? Effectively gain a life after trashing the top one, but what you can do on top of that is have a 7-cost body on the field, which is just out of range for stuff like Jozu. So because, again, we took a life off from the top and put 2 more back on, that's going to prompt the Nami leader effect to draw 1 card. And now the 6K swing going in at Ace is going to be a 1K Yamato. So Nami's still at 4 life and a big threat with the Robin on the field. If they want to swing at the Robin, right, it's going to, if it gets KO'd, it's going to deal 1 damage to yourself. So you got to be tricky on this 8,000 power character. So starts off with a 7K swing going at lead Nami. The 7K swings are very interesting because it's going to force them to be able to use 2 cards out of hand, right? One from leader effect and another 1K potentially, and that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see the Kikunojo be trashed for the leader effect to make Nami 7 for the rest of the turn. And it looks like we're thinking about pitching this Nami out of the hand to be able to go to 8,000. Now the ace starting out with an Ezo. You'll love seeing the Ezo right here though, because that means that there's no 8 cost I am Whitebeard event in the hand to be able to play down. That means no 10 drop Blackbeards coming at this point. And so with the Garp as well, going to be looking at that top 4 for 8 cost 3 or higher. Sees Cavendish, sees Marco at this point, but also 9 drop Newgate, another one of those copies. Thinking about picking up the Marco instead, maybe going to play it on this turn just to be able to get a body on the field, but the Yamato is going to be the pick instead, right? Especially because you're looking for the I am Whitebeard events and the such to be able to set you up in future turns, be able to play something like a 10 drop Newgate and a 2 drop Uta blocker. Gonna just get that raw draw. We do see that event come in the hand for the ace. Now a 7,000 power swing at lead. Nami still 7,000 power. Can't just give up a 1K if they want to, but may go ahead and take the life, go down to 3 at this point. You got a little bit of counter in hand with stuff like the Charlotte Pudding, right? You've got the Hiyori 2K in hand, but ends up pitching the Capone Beige 2K that's in this deck. And so now ending off the turn with another Ezo, going to be looking at the top 5. Ends up finding a 1 cost Vista blocker. Not something we see a lot of times in Ace. We see it more in the blue-yellow Nami deck, I would say, in the recent past. But ends up going with the Jozu instead of the Vista, passes off the turn. So Nami going to be able to, or I'm sorry, Robin going to be able to get a swing as a character, but we might see something like Pudding, right? We saw a lot of draw. We saw a lot of search from the Ezos, the Garps, the Yamato, right? Played last turn to try to set up the hand with a lot of cards. Wouldn't surprise me maybe to see a Pudding come in and reset that hand entirely that he's been building up. But one thing that you have to try to gauge is the Kuma even better, right? Do you want to actually heal on this upcoming turn? You do have to pitch 1 card in hand. Do you want to play this Nojiko to get the Yamato off the field, right? To minimize the amount of swings that are coming at you on this turn. A lot of stuff to be able to think about, especially with Pudding. You can actually Pudding and Nojiko in the same turn, which is so nice. Oh, I feel like I've been talking chat. And so is going to go ahead, play that Pudding, as I mentioned, right? All of those searches kind of going to waste in a sense. Bodies left on the field. It's going to be up to the 5 cards that this ace player draws and the top deck for a turn to see if he can come back into a good position, right, to be able to play something like a 10 drop Newgate or I am Whitebeard event in this. We'll see what he gets. And it looks like he's got so no Newgates at this point. He does have a couple 2Ks in the Uta and Jozu, but the Atmos is in the hand, right? That's not really going to help him right now. The Garp is going to have to spend a little bit more time with the setup and the 10 cost Goldie Roger, which nobody's hitting 0 anytime soon, I would say. So definitely a very, very good spot right now. I would have maybe liked to see if you were going to play the Nojiko, maybe play the Nojiko first to get the Yamato back in hand, and then go with the Pudding, right? Adds 1 more card into the Aces deck and removes that body off the field, but ends up not going with that as of right now. Just goes ahead with a 9,000 power swing with this Robin character. And so Ace now using the Ezo effect to draw 1 card, bottom deck 1 card, try to filter and find stuff. Does find a 10 drop Whitebeard. So could be the difference in this one, especially if he can find an 8 cost event on the Garp in this coming turn. And so actually that Robin was swinging at the Jozu there, so is going to get the knockout. Maybe is going to try to go with this Nojiko to double clear these bodies, right? Clear the Jozu, clear the Yamato off of the field. Only expect 1 swing in the coming turn, and we might actually see that, especially as an 8,000 power swing now comes in from this Nami 8,000 power, a good number if you're ever matched up against Ace, especially because it forces 2 cards out of the Ace's hand if they don't want to take a life, leader effect, and another card to go. So on this, Izo finds a 9-drop OP02 Whitebeard once again. It's probably just going to go ahead and maybe put that in the bottom of the deck, but no, puts the Garp at the bottom of the deck. So is maybe okay with just either playing a 9-drop Newgate or going in with the 10-drop Raw on the next upcoming turn. So counters out of the leader swing. The Nojiko being played down to pop the Yamato, put it back in hand, is going to be able to get a 1K in the hand. But again, like I said, now the Ace's field pretty much gone at this point. So now Ace at a full 10 Dawn turn should have the ability to play a Newgate, whether that's the 9 or 10, and is just going to slam down that 10, right? Being able to draw 2, trash 1, and then on top of that, add 2 Rested Dawn to your leader and character is so much value in this SR. That's why, especially for all of you opening OP13 this weekend, right, with the release of the set in the West, a lot of people are trying to find those SRs for their Ace decks heading into this format. So it's thinking about trashing the Red Rock right here. I don't mind the Red Rock trash at this point. I think you've got some pretty good cards in the hand that you want to keep. And so now Nami is going to be taking this first life. No trigger on there, just another of the Shoujo Girl promos. And we pass off the turn. Now, especially if these Newgates are going to be able to stack up, right? It's going to be a problem for Nami to be able to get through and push out. The Red Rock in the hand, though, right now is going to be going ahead and played, is going to bottom deck that Newgate entirely. That was what I was going to say is a great counter card to the Newgates, Red Rocks, Stussies. We're seeing these removal cards remove anybody off the field be so impactful right now in the meta, and this is exactly why, to be able to get those tall, big bodies out of the way. And so starting out with an 8,000 power Robin swing, no free blocks coming in for this Ace. Ace looks like thinking about countering out of this one. So is going to use leader effect on that 9-drop, and a Jozu now does not have any Newgates in the hand, I think, at this point. Maybe is going to go with an angle of Yamato Marco in the next turn. Still a potential leader swing, but attaching 2 to putting and going in with the swing. You may think that Nami doesn't have a lot of swinging threats at this point on the field, but does utilize as many swings as possible now with this 8. Is going to find a 10-drop Newgate off of the life, prompting Nami's leader effect to draw 1 card. And that's going to be a very, very nice draw, I think, from the Ace, especially because off his leader effect taking the life, he got to draw the I Am Whitebeard event. Is going to be nice to try to maintain tempo, but as we're saying in chat right now, as Stygian Orator is saying, the Ace is definitely behind at this point in terms of the tempo and in terms of the pace. He's definitely falling behind, right? Nami still at 3 life, has still the possibility to heal. It's got big swings coming in with Robin's, got other swings with Pudding, as well as the leader, and Ace getting out another 10 cost. So is actually thinking about not playing the I Am Whitebeard event. You'll see players do this a lot of times because that just keeps another card in hand, right? Especially on this draw 2, trash 1, is going to be pitching a card out of hand, and you're going to pitch one probably for your leader effect. So it's just more beneficial at this point, especially if you don't plan on playing an Uta, right, blocker with the other 2 done, to just go ahead, conserve the amount of cards in hand, try to have advantage in that asset. And so this 8K swing now going in, no trigger on this one. Looks like it was a Capone Beige. So no glimpse of that, being able to use that effect. One of the most annoying triggers, in my personal opinion, of negating an attack in general. And we see Nami top deck their own 10 cost. So this is something that we started to see in OP13 that blue-yellow Namis were doing. They were playing this 10 cost Newgate. So very, very good in the Ace deck for sure, but Nami being able to not only filter the hand, be able to find all the pieces that it wants to, but utilize the 2 Dawn on leader and a character, is going to be able to get this Robin to be able to swing 10,000 power, this Nami 8,000 power. And so starting out with the Nami swing, this could be nice because if he gets out of this attack, he won't need to swing with the Robin, right? Robin only being a 10,000 power character, the Newgate at 12,000 power will end up blocking it, so you can leave it as active so then he can't swing into it, right? So it looks like we are going to see leader effect and 2K to be able to get out of that swing. 2 cards out of the hand, and we'll see if he ends up passing the turn with this Robin in the active, and he does exactly. And so now we're going into another turn for the ace. He's still in it, right? Because he's got another 10-drop Newgate at his side. But you don't really have an answer to be able to respond onto Nami's board as of right now, and especially with a 12,000 power character of her own. If you try to swing with this Newgate blocker here, it could spell trouble, but ends up going with the Yamato to be able to draw some cards, get a Dawn attached to lead. Still has 5 Dawn to be able to work with, so we'll see maybe playing the 1 cost Vista in this turn. As we see that in hand, maybe a Vista Marco combo. So 7,000 power swing is going to be able to net 2 cards, is going to be a leader effect and 1K, I believe, to go up to 8. The 12,000 power swing and 1K counter on the Kuma, and the Marco and the Vista rounding out the turn for the ace. Nami now going into another 10 Dawn turn. We see another 10-drop Newgate in the hand, so is going to be able to draw way more cards at this point. Also finds a searcher event. The searcher event might just be something that you pitch, right? Or maybe save for the next turn that you've got, regardless of what it's a Robin or something like that. So I think as the Nami, you're definitely playing the 10 drop down, right? You're playing it over the 2 cost Hiyori, right? Because Hiyori doesn't get you as much value as maybe Nojiko does if you can bounce that back to hand. So finds another Shoujo Girl and a 5-drop Nami. So we got to pitch one of these cards. Probably going to be this Shoujo Girl. I don't think we need another one. It's either that or the Nami. May want to save the Searcher for the next turn for potentially something like a Robin to get you another card or another life, in the hand. And we get to see the 2 Dawn pushed again to these characters and leaders. So an 8,000 power swing once again, just starting it out, seeing how this ace is going to react. Only 4 cards in hand at this point. He can get out of this swing with the leader effect and 1K, right? So we may see that him pitching this Roger and Jozu out of the hand. There can be a situation, though, that if he does decide to keep Roger, he would be able to put himself down to 0 life, would be able to stay alive in this game, slam down Roger, and go in and swing at the Nami. And so ends up pitching the Roger and Jozu. So one thing that could happen, if he swings 12,000 power at the Newgate, is going to be able to fetch blocks. The Marco on that 10,000 power swing is going to draw 2 and 1 more for leader effect. Does find 2K, 1K, and an 8 cost Newgate event, and the Vista gets the block. So still surviving another turn right now. Now finds another Newgate. He's found all 4 Newgates now at this point. So now here's the question. Does Ace continue with just going ahead and playing 10 drops with the full 10 Dawn, or do they commit to that 8 cost? So we are going to see the I Am Whitebeard play out the 10 cost Newgate, passes on drawing the life, but goes ahead, draws 2 cards, is going to trash the other I Am Whitebeard in the hand right after drawing a 2K, 1K on there of the Uta and Yamato, 2 Dawn, 2 Yamato, and Ace, the common pair. And we start off with an 8,000 power swing at lead. This is the crucial time, I feel like, for Nami at this point. Got to be careful with turning that Newgate sideways, right? Yeah, Nami's a cool deck in Heroines. So ends up using leader effect to pitch the Searcher event and a 2K to get out of that swing, right? Make Nami 9,000 power for the battle and 7 for the rest of the turn. Now this other 8 from the ace is just a simple 2K to get out of the swing, but a block from the Newgate right here is going to be a free pass. And now the 12,000 power swing from the Newgate he played last turn is going to be able to get a life on that Nami, and the Uta coming in, especially because there's a 10,000 power higher character in that Newgate on the field. Uta is going to be able to be played for 2 Dawn, so especially with the 8 cost event and 2 cost Uta combination, definitely a very good one. We see another Red Rock right here. We'll see if he goes in with the Red Rock and swings out on this turn. Only 1 blocker is active, and it's going now to the bottom of the deck. 4 cards in hand for the ace. Is going to be able to use the Shoujo Girl to get a Dawn on the leader, and 4 Dawn left in this one. Starts out with an 8,000 power swing. Remember, you've got 2 12s in these Newgates. If you're going all in, now is the time. There's still 1 blocker, though, in this Uta that you do have to think about. So what do you do as the ace right now? Is going to go ahead, use leader effect and 1K to get out of the swing, a combination that we've seen plenty of times already in this 8,000 power swings that come at the ace leader. Has 4 Dawn left to work with. So where do you distribute the 4 Dawn? Still has 6 minutes left. Is just going to attach them all to lead. Swing 10,000 power. The best math that you can do right now is 10, 12, 12. You got to hit 1 more time. And so ace, thinking about a trigger, is not going to be able to get a trigger. Is going to go ahead, draw 1 card. And with 12, 12, if he sees the line and goes ahead and swings, he will become the winner of this game, as ace has already used leader effect. So thinking about this statistically, the cards in the ace's hand to be able to get out of these swings, right? Because he already uses leader effect to draw 1 card because of taking the life, he would have to have 2K, 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 1K to get out of this. There's the first block, right? 1 swing left. It's 1 12,000 power swing. Does he do it? I could see a world, because of where you have 3 2Ks in hand and 2 1Ks and still 1 life. I could see a world where maybe you don't swing this because you might be able to live, especially because you can make yourself a 7,000 power leader. And if he wants to get rid of this Newgate on the field that you have as active, he's got to play Red Rock, which means he would only have 4 Dawn left to be able to utilize on his different leader and characters. It ends up passing the turn, goes in the safe route. I don't think this is incorrect, but it stinks because we have the knowledge of what the ace player had in hand. We know that he would have had game if he had done it, but it's impossible to tell, especially when there is so much raw draw with the ace deck, right? On those Newgates, on those Yamatos. It really leaves you in a question when you're playing against one of what they have in their hand. And so there's the Red Rock, going to be bottom decking that Newgate. But again, you have plenty of counter in hand, so I don't think you're too worried at this point. A 7K swing. This is going to be to fetch 2 cards out of hand right now. If you go ahead, use leader effect and pitch another 1K on top of that, right, with the ones that you have, you're going to be able to get out of the next swings, right? You've got 1 life. You're going to be able to get out of this 9,000 power swing. Just pitch all your 2Ks in hand, right? And then the Newgate, if they decide to go for it, just whatever, but decides to take it. And now the 2Ks is going to go ahead with the 3 2Ks because they're a 7. That's plus 6. That's 13. My math was wrong on that one. I thought it was 12, but it was 13. So going to be able to get out of this game. Only 4 cards in hand. Goes ahead with the Robin swing. Going to be a leader effect and 1K. And the 22 on 2 leader is going to be able to get it. Nami is going to be making it into the top 8 round, despite ace getting a good curve. We saw the impactful cards of putting, right? A very, very well-timed putting in that game really threw ace off the track, right? Minimized the amount of cards in hand and forced him to do a little bit more searching in this one to try to be able to figure it out. Nojiko played a huge time in that game, right? Being able to remove the Marco off the field and minimize the amount of times that they could draw 2 off of that. Definitely a great game for the Nami. Yeah, the dramatic finish from the Nami player, and maybe we'll see it again in the top 8. If you're watching the YouTube video that gets posted after the tournament, make sure to subscribe so that you can see the next couple rounds. If you're on the live stream, right, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, if you're on the live stream, you're stuck with me forever. You can't leave. Actually, just kidding. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.